I guess what I wanted to ask about is I do stand-up comedy, and I find that I am a positive person, but I'm often in a very harsh environment, especially for women, I think. I'm getting emotional. And I'm trying to do this positive stuff. But, like, one weekend I was just Abrahammed up. I listened to so much of your stuff and was really excited about it. And then went out that night like, oh, I'm going to have a great night. And I swear to God, I had the worst set of my life, like humiliation beyond.
Because you weren't a match to them?
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's the thing, is that the environment, I work out at the Comedy Store, which is renowned for being a very tough room. And part of why I do it is because I know it makes me much better as a comedian in other places I go. But it's kind of like guerrilla training. It's brutal. I mean...
Well, how do you see them? In other words, listen to what you're saying here. You're saying, I am a comic and I'm pretty good at it. But this is a particularly tough room. So think about what you've activated in yourself
already.
Just knowing that. Now, you could turn that around by saying, I'm going to have to be really, really good to get them.
Right.
And they're going to evoke the very best of me to
Right.
get them. And I can do that because I've done it on many, many occasions. Now you're back in alignment. As you came here, you said, I am so excited. And sometimes when people come here, they have this, I want to come, I don't want to come, I want to come, I don't want to come. In other words, sometimes we'll call on someone because we can feel the power of their desire is so bright. In other words, the light of their desire is rocketing to the boundaries of the universe. And we know that they want to talk about it, but they don't want to talk about it. But when you came to the chair just now, we could feel you really wanted to be here. In other words, you were in alignment about being here. Even though there are some things that you're struggling with, you really wanted to be here. And that's the way you have to be when you go on that stage. You have to really want to be there. In other words, if you are invested in your outcome, in other words, I want to knock them dead. I want to be the funniest one that they've ever heard, so that you are focused upon the end result. Now, that's more difficult than if you are saying, I'm going to go see what they can get from me. I'm going to go see how they can help me hone my craft. I'm going to go see how they can help me discover a unique timing. I'm going to go see how together we can co-create something that is really, really on, because you can be really on and your audience can be really off. And if your audience is really off and you're really on, you're not connecting. And you say, well, I should have been able to do something about that. And we say, you can do something about that if you're flexible and understanding that your audience is flexible. And you can do a lot of your activating in them even while you're backstage, even while you're driving to where you're going, just by acknowledging how flexible and easy it is once you get there. And by saying things like, I love doing it, I'm at my very best when I am doing it, I adore doing it, I love the new insights that are sometimes even born right in the middle of a sentence, those kinds of things.
And I have been doing that, and in fact, it's interesting because after that horrific set, which was like literally I had to hide at the back of the room because I actually couldn't look at anybody in the eye, I actually started having really good sets of that because I think it was the rockets of desire coming.
Your desire went into a whole new place. It did. And so you say, oh, bless that torturous set that gave birth to so much more within me. And every comic at the top will tell you that's why they're so good.
Right. And I guess this goes for general things. Like sometimes I'll be feeling great and then right literally in the 30 seconds before I go up on stage, I'll have like a sabotaging thought. And I think it kind of relates to a lot of aspects in life where I was putting like 95% of the time I'll feel positive about, and this could be like relationships or whatever, or where I'm going or something that might happen. But it seems like the 5% of the time where I'll have negative thoughts seems to have so much more power to manifest than the 95% of the time.
That's because, as we were saying earlier, you could have a near perfect life and just have a few things that aren't going the way you want them to, but you're putting 100% of your attention on those few things that aren't going very well, so it plays a bigger part in your vibration. And it comes from the human indoctrination that says we have to work on our problems in order to solve them. In other words, you chew on them more, you think of them more. In fact, that's why this virtual reality game that we're talking about so much these days, that was born out of that. It was born out of the awareness that you keep working so hard on the things that are bothering you that you make it a bigger player in your vibration that it deserves to be when you look at the percentage of it that's actually happening in your life. That would be like driving down the freeway at 70 miles an hour one day and hitting a pothole and breaking an axle. It's a big pothole. Then from then on, you drive down the freeway, no matter what freeway it is, at 5 miles an hour. You say, I had my experience with freeways.
Right.
That's not going to happen to me again.
Right. So I guess I would say that it seems like, so hand in hand with being a comedian is like having money problems as well. And I know that this has probably been convinced from watching everybody else that every comic is broke until they make it. Everybody struggles. So again, I've been trying with the prosperity mentality and saying, money's coming in. But sometimes when I'm just so deeply entrenched in having no money, like I literally had to drink a glass of water the other night so I could go to bed because I was hungry because I couldn't afford any food, And when you're in that point, like I want to believe the money's coming in, but it's just hard. Like antidotes to this thinking?
Well, what you do is, at the time that you are least aware of your lack of money, you relax about other things in an attempt to be trusting that it is coming. Mm-hmm. You look for evidence of it coming in the ways that it does come, rather than counting the evidence of the way it's not coming and the way it's not coming. In other words, you just keep reaching for the better thought and reaching for the better thought and reaching for the better thought. And little by little by little by little, you begin to acknowledge, well, if I can do that, then I can do that. Well, if I can do that, then I can do that. Mm. It does not come all at once, but you did not get to the place that you are all at once either. Mm. And so that's why the barrage of processes that we offer are all oriented toward helping you get to the place where you are allowing the well-being that you're asking for. Right. In other words, that was a really dynamic and dramatic statement that you just made. Straight from the heart, no manipulation involved. In other words, you were just clearly stating how you feel. And it rippled through the audience. In other words, everyone can feel it. Some identify with it now, some remember that feeling. As you keep that vibration alive, you keep that vibration alive. And as you feel the discomfort of that vibration and you say, I'd like to awaken another vibration, you can't usually awaken another vibration on that same subject right here, right now. But the fact that you want to will cause the universe to line something up that will give you more of that.
Right. And I know something always crops up right when you're kind of at the edge, but I want it to come sooner.
But hear what you just said. I know something always crops up. Oh, did you feel the purity of that vibration? In other words, did you feel how much better that vibration felt than I had to drink water because I was hungry before I went to bed? In other words, that was a much more serving vibration for you. Yeah. And then you counted it again a little bit. In other words, you just want to be sensitive to where you're going. And of course, we're not wanting you to monitor your words. That'll make you nutty. We want you to pay attention to the way you feel and reach for thoughts that feel good. And when you get on a trend of something that does feel good, milk it for all it's worth. And when you get on a trend that doesn't feel good, try to get off it as fast as you can. That's the way it works. Now, let's come back to this comedy.
Yeah.
What makes you choose that? In other words, do you feel driven to it, compelled to it? In other words, is this something you really want to do, that you feel natural to? Well, that's the way it feels in your vibration. And so, as you say, I have found a really good fit. Ooh, doesn't that feel good as it resonates through you? And then you think about comics that are not hungry when they go to bed. And a lot of them will tell you stories of when they were hungry, and those aren't the parts of their careers you're wanting to remember. You're wanting to remember them being at the top. As you look at how many people are fantastically famous and wealthy and eating well and influential, that also found comedy to be a very good fit for them, you can ride on their vibrational coattails just by telling yourself their stories over and over and over and over again. Don't tell yourself their starving artist stories. Tell yourself their success stories. Look at where they are. Remember that they can go anywhere. They can get their name on any billboard in any place. They can get on nearly any television program. In other words, they are wanted. They are where they want to be. And you can be too. You just got to tell those stories and vibrate there.
Right. It's a very good tip.
Now talk to us about the comedy. Talk to us about the thrill of being there and humorous, well-timed things being evoked from you.
Talk about it?
Talk about how that feels.
Oh, I mean, it's amazing. I mean, it is just, you know, when I do it and it goes well, I really feel like it was why I was put on the planet that time, and I feel just amazingly connected.
So what we are wanting you to do, just for a little while, is pick some of those rooms or sets where you really were clicking, and replay them often so that you keep that active in your vibration. Because you see, you can look at yourself from a lot of different vantage points. You can see yourself in that successful moment and activate a vibration, or you can see yourself as a starving artist who sometimes has a good set but is mostly a starving artist and activate that vibration. You get to choose what part of all of that you make dominant in your vibration.
Right.
And it's strictly about airtime. In other words, you understand the more exposure you get to the more people, the more well-known you will become. In other words, as people hear you and like you and then begin remembering your name and begin retelling others about you, in other words, this is the way your reputation is going to expand. And so what we are suggesting is in exactly the same way, you can give airtime to the successful part of you, or you can give airtime to the unsuccessful part of you, and every part of it has a ripple effect that is going to affect your future experience as it unfolds.
Yeah.
Do you make yourself laugh?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
And do you enjoy coming up with funny things?
Yeah, and actually this was another thing that I wanted to ask you, because I know we're not supposed to, focus on the negative, but so much of comedy does come from negativity. I mean, I listen to other comics, there is, a lot of that. So I kind of worry about that, like when I write jokes that come from like bad dating or whatever. I mean, am I putting out that vibration every time I do that material on stage?
Or are you taking a subject that is negative for many people and softening it to a place that feels better? We have enjoyed this interaction immensely. It is wonderful to come together with those like you who are beginning to recognize the power of directing your own mind, and more importantly, the confidence that you begin to gain as you feel your way through your thoughts. It's a vibrational universe, and every part of that which you live is because of your ability to decipher the vibration. And as you begin to use your emotional center as a deliberate deciphering mechanism, where you are deliberately paying attention to the direction of your thought by the way it feels, now you have supreme guidance. Guidance that you were born with, guidance that the beasts use that you call instinct. You have guidance in the moment, source energy, broader view, guiding you. When you are feeling the perfection of that which is you, the guidance is right there. When you are questioning your ability to do something, you've pinched it off a little bit. When you are appreciating yourself or someone else, the guidance is right there. When you are critical of yourself or someone else, you've pinched yourself off from it. When you feel joy beyond description, you have a focused desire and you are in alignment with it, which means you're doing step 1 and step 3 at the same time. When you feel passion, the energy is pouring powerfully. Your resistance is non-existent, and you are as you are in your non-physical state. Life is supposed to be fun, and it is not complicated once you understand the basic laws of the universe. And everyone that you are interacting with, those you know closely and those that you have not met or believe you do not know at all, are all playing under the same identical rules. And law of attraction is the manager of all of this. Your potential for joy is greater than you have yet imagined. Our expectation of that fulfillment of that joy for you has come so clearly into focus as a result of what we've chewed on here today. You are leading edge creators, understanding creation in a way that almost anybody you meet will not yet understand. And that's all right.